Tonight on Lowdown, we're going for a walk along with UCM Safe Team. We'll go behind the scenes of the MCA's 48-hour film festival and listen in on a fired up podcast. All this and more coming up next. Hello and welcome back to Lowdown, a show by the students of the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. I'm Stephen Holstein. Thanks for joining us this evening as we continue to dive into all the cool things happening here at UCM. Speaking of, the Media Creators Association held its 48-hour film festival recently, and we sat down with the team to get all of the details. Let's take a look.
My name is Sergeant Andrew Griffin. I'm the evening shift patrol sergeant at the beginning of the week. Safe Team is comprised of students from various majors throughout the university that work during the hours of darkness to help ensure the safety and security of the university.
The importance of Safe Team here on campus is to help keep the campus safe and make sure that people get back to their rooms safely, and so that they won't be worried about if they have to walk alone in the dark or people that are following behind them, and we're there just to help them get there safe. The goal of Safe Team is to keep UCM the #1 safest campus in Missouri.
They do foot patrols from throughout all the academic buildings as well as the residence halls, inter-campus. They also serve as an extra set of eyes and ears for the police officers to assist with anything that we may need.
Working at night here it can seem scary at first because you're all alone for most of the time by yourself in the dark, but once you do it a couple times, you're used to it and you know where everything is. And plus you have the officers right on your radio. If anything happens, you can contact them.
The goal of Safe Team is to essentially serve as an extra set of eyes and ears, put more people on the ground, out walking around, looking around. They also, the big responsibility for Safe Team is to, foot patrol through the residence halls, through the academic buildings, do escorts for anybody that wants to go from point A to point B on the university property, as well as to ensure that the academic buildings are secured overnight.
My favorite part working here is meeting the new people that we have to escort around, and getting to know them a little bit as you walk, because most of the time I talk to them.
You get to learn about them, see what their major is, and then you also get to meet your coworkers and form relationships with them.
My favorite part about being a university police officer is getting out and just talking to people. I love working the tailgate lots during homecoming and during the rest of the football games, just go around and talk to people. I enjoy walking through the residence halls, meeting the students, sitting down, talking to the students, and helping them with anything they may need. The work environment is, I love it. I've been doing this for quite a while. I never thought I would be working for a university police, but I can't really imagine going anywhere else right now, or in the future. I have yet to see any other police department that allow me to walk through a residence hall and spend an hour talking with a group of students. And I enjoy that. I enjoy talking with the students, meeting the students, getting to learn about them.
The environment of Safe Team is pretty relaxed and chill until every once in a while you get some crazy escort drunk people, but other than that it's pretty laid back and it's fun.
Safe Team for the university is a pretty critical role. They assist with escorts for students or any faculty or staff, or basically anybody that's on the university property that wants an escort from A to B on the university grounds. They also serve as an extra set of eyes and ears for the officers that are on shift. They walk through the residence halls like we walk through the residence halls, but sometimes students are more apt to have that peer-to-peer conversation than they are the the student officer conversation. So they also assist with football games and other large special events where just extra personnel are needed.
Feel free to reach out, and if you see us walking around, you can come up and talk to us. It's not because most of the time we're out there by ourselves.
If you're scared to reach out to Safe Team, don't be. We're just people too, and we want to make sure that you're as safe as possible and that nothing happens to you.
Safety team, I feel, is very important to the university environment because we only have so many officers that are available to work per shift during the hours of darkness from evening time, I should say. So they're an extra set of eyes and ears. We have 2 to 3 safety team members that work a shift, so that's just that many more people out and about.
My favorite part about Safe Team is meeting new people, working with these guys here. Everyone's great, and it also looks really good on a resume for later down the line.
It seems like I'm always hiring for Safe Team, so keep an eye out, and if you're interested in Safe Team. It's great for those that are looking to go into law enforcement. We have a similar background process than we do for our actual police officers. So it gives anybody that's looking to go into law enforcement a kind of first-hand knowledge of a hiring process for a police department.
If you're looking to apply for Safe Team, it may take a while to get through the process, but if you stick with it, it's worth it in the long run.
My name is Nick Haran. I'm a junior here at UCM, and I'm a digital media with emphasis on cinematography. 48-hour film festival is when you have to write, produce, film, and edit a short film all in the span of 48 hours. This was my first 48-hour film festival. I tried to get into them before, but due to scheduling conflicts, I never really had time. The process for the 48 start to finish would be first you gather with all the teams, you kind of get the rules, what you need in the film, the genre, and you kind of just get the groundworks. And then from there you brainstorm, you start from scratch and try to make a story with ideas and all these things. Then our writer went off and created a wonderful story with everything we had given him to work with. And then from there, we made a big schedule of when we were gonna meet, when we were getting out and getting all of our shots done. And then the next couple of days were taken up by filming, getting everything done. And then the day after filming was just editing. And both of those took full days to get done. And it was ridiculous how in-depth everything got so fast. My role was predominantly filming. I set up camera, put it in places, set up shots, filmed scenes, got some B-roll, things like that. Favorite part of filming would probably be how just productive and fun it was. Like, it was a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but the fact that we had so many determined people with good ideas, and the fact that we created something that I feel like everyone was really happy with in such a short amount of time was really just the coolest experience. It makes me so excited going forward with my career. Our film takes place at Cave Hollow in Warrensburg, Missouri. We used some of the back trails and some of the cave areas along with the parking lots. Our film was a horror about 2 girls who go to a park cleanup, but it ends up being the wrong park. But they just decide to clean up here anyways because the park was riddled with trash. And they end up stumbling upon someone who had just killed someone, so they have to try and escape the park late at night while that person is pursuing them. My favorite scene while filming was probably more of the night shots, kind of back in Cave Hollow. It was fun to kind of get creative with our surrounding and trying to make it give like a creepy vibe towards our story. As director for cinematography, I'd say probably one of the coolest shots we got was where our 2 actresses were hiding behind a pile of logs, and we had our killer come up from the woods. And the lighting in that scene I thought was very cool, and just how everything panned out was honestly perfect in my opinion. A few issues that we ran into while filming were our batteries lasted maybe 15 minutes if we were lucky and would not charge. So we lost our camera maybe like an hour or so into shooting, but luckily we had like a backup to use to finish out all the shots. We did film a fight scene where someone didn't really pull their punch, and so one of our actors got hit with a stick in the head pretty hard. Tips that I'd say: make sure your batteries will charge. Make sure people who are wielding prop weapons know how to wield them properly, and make sure you get a group with people you enjoy and know will pull their weight, because I feel like it would not have been such a wonderful experience if I didn't have such a great crew to work with. I feel like our film will win awards because I feel like we tried to make it as professional as possible. I know some people used like a gimbal and tried to just use that for every shot when that can become very repetitive. So I hope maybe like my filming and a few of the other people's filming could win some awards, editing possibly, and maybe acting. My final thoughts for the 48 is that it is such a genuinely cool experience. You get that feeling of excitement, nervousness, and just ambition right before it starts, and as soon as it starts, you're just full steam ahead. All your energy is put into this for a whole weekend, and you get probably one of the best videos you'll create in college out of it, and I highly recommend it for anyone. If you are on the fence about doing the 48, do not put it off. It is so much fun. You only really have 4 years to participate, and use all that time you can to just enjoy it and get to know so many wonderful people in DMP.
My name is Noah Lamson. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a digital media production student here at UCM. Honestly, the reason why I'm here is because I want to be a radio broadcaster. It's been a dream since I was a little kid, listening to 610, listening to guys like Bob Fesco growing up, and I've always wanted to be like them and try to make it happen, and I try to make my dream come true as fast as I possibly can. The Stovetop Podcast, it's really just me and a bunch of buddies just talking about the latest sports news every single day, or not every single day, every single week rather. And we just have fun with it. We do our pick'ems. We pick NFL games every single week. Like we'll do 5 of them. We'll do all the primetime games. We'll do the Chiefs game and maybe just another game that's maybe interesting. And we'll discuss it. We'll discuss the latest news and like about the NFL, the NBA, MLB, whatever it is. We got the postseason coming up. The NFL season just started. The Chiefs, are doing their thing, and we'll just discuss it every single week. It was on Wednesdays. We changed it to Thursdays just because we wanted to. I don't really know why we did, but we wanted to. So we changed it to Thursdays. We upload every Friday, and we'll just give you the latest news on the NFL, MLB, like I said, all the other sports. I started out with my original podcast was in my senior year of high school, and it was just me and a bunch of buddies just wanted to talk about kind of the similar concept, but it wasn't very good. I don't recommend checking it out because it was terrible. But then once I got here, I realized, like, my first semester I started out as a criminal justice major, and I hated my life. Like, I didn't like it. Like, it wasn't fun. I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't enjoying college like I should. So then I changed to digital media production, and I thought maybe I should try the podcast again. And then it kind of turned into this passion project. Like, I love doing it. People seem to love, checking it out, listening to it. Like, my mom loves it. That's awesome. I mean, I would hope she would love it, but no, like every single viewer that I've heard, like, we love it. We think you should do this, like, as a career. And I've been told that since I was probably about my junior year of high school, when I started looking into football and, like, diving real deep into these sports topics. I really enjoyed doing it, and that's basically whenever I started realizing, like, maybe I can do this as a career. Like, I love doing it. I'm good at it, and criminal justice was not the route I should have gone, and I made that mistake, but I learned from it. And so I went to digital media production, went to radio broadcasting. I started doing my show, and literally in my room. Like, I just had a Blue Yeti. I bought a microphone. It was like a $150 microphone, and I literally just talked for 40 minutes straight. Like, seriously. Like, I would just talk to myself with no guests, no nothing, no ads, nothing. Just 40 minutes of me talking about the latest in the NFL, and I would just talk. And then I finally, I applied my show to UCM Radio The Beat. They loved it. They said they wanted to get me in the studio. So I realized I have an opportunity to get a bunch of people on here and be on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and every week I've done it. I just love doing it. And so that's kind of where the roots were. Started out in high school. People told me I should do it. And I thought, maybe not. But then I tried doing the maybe not part of it, which is criminal justice. And then I switched over to digital media production. I haven't looked back since. So it was originally called Here's the Thing. And Alec Baldwin, I'm not even joking, decided that he has a radio show that's titled the same thing, which I was not aware of. And I got an email over the summer saying, hey, we want you to take down all of your episodes because you're using the same name that we are. And I thought that was outrageous. So I ended up changing the name. I just came up with the Stovetop because Ben Thomas, who's a regular guest on the show, he always has this thing like we're ready to cook. Like we're ready to cook some takes and stuff, like about like, you know, sports takes. And so I thought the stovetop, what's cooking, you know, like what's cooking today. We have this new term we're trying out. It's like if you ever have like a hot take on anything, it's like you say, what's cooking? And then you say your take. So like, for example, if I say what's cooking, Patrick Mahomes is going to win the MVP this year, which, you know, that's a hot take. Some people think yes, some people think no, and we'll just have a huge discussion about it. And so we thought it kind of worked out. The stovetop, I had some other ideas, but nothing was really cool as the stovetop. And I had a buddy who does graphic design for fun, and he already came up with a logo, which is the logo that we use now. And I thought, you know what, I felt like that, like two and two together, they kind of came together, and it just kind of worked out. So I just decided on the stovetop. Go above and beyond, I would probably say, yeah. I wouldn't say so far. I mean, obviously Dr. Joe Moore, you know, he always wants me to do better. You know, we have discussions about not even just about my show, but about sports in general. And he has some interesting thoughts and about how like my show should go, maybe the latest sports news. And I kind of like take that as an example. But I would honestly say like the best influence I probably ever had was at my high school, my senior year. Keegan Gardner, he's my homie. He's a really good teacher of mine. I had law enforcement with him my senior year. And he just told me like, you have to like keep going. Like you can't let someone like just like take away your fun. You know, like I had fun doing it, but then like I wasn't getting a lot of viewership at the time when I was doing it. And so I just kind of thought about I shouldn't do it. But he honestly just taught me like you just need to keep doing it. And another person that really inspired me to do this is a really good friend of mine back home, Christopher Elosh. He taught me this terminology that really like changed my life. And it's like we're all familiar with the term, you know, glass half full, glass half empty. That term is baloney. Like you shouldn't use it. Your glass is always full. It always just depends on what you fill it with. So like I try to fill it with like passion, happiness, and just like fill it with stuff I love to do, which is like the podcast, talking sports with anybody and everybody. Like literally, I'll just be walking down the hall and I'll see like some random dude. I was wearing my Browns shirt because I'm a Chiefs and a Browns fan. And some random dude just like walked up to me and just started heckling me about being a Browns fan. And we literally just sat there for 20 minutes and just talked about sports. And you know, I think that, you know, that genuine connection of just having fun with other people, even if I don't know them, like they'll think about like that random kid and just like talk to me about sports for 20 minutes. And I love to do it. Like literally, I will walk up. You give me any person in the union, I will literally walk up to them. If they have a sports shirt on, I will talk sports with them and I'll make it awesome. Like not to sound cocky or anything, but I just love to do it. You know, so I try to fill my glass with, you know, happiness and give other people that glass as well, because you know a lot of people don't have that. You know, I didn't have it for the longest time either. Like I lived my life glass half full, glass half empty. Then I realized it's always full. You know, I want to give that full glass to other people through my podcast, through, you know, who I am as a person, and just try to be that light to other people and just say, hey, whatever it is you're passionate about, whether you want to be a teacher, a broadcaster like myself, or whatever, police officer, whatever, do that, because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one that's making the decisions of what I love to do, or I'm going to be miserable.
Reporting from Lowdown, this is Hunter Hallbaker.
My name is Chris Holmberg. I'm the managing editor at the Mule Skinner. I am in my first semester of grad school. I'm pursuing a master's in communication. Generally speaking, and there are a lot of different facets of it, but generally speaking, the Mule Skinner, the service it provides to the campus community is it lets people obviously know the information going on. If there are stories, calendar events, what's going on in advance, what has happened, how it happened. It's meant to be a source of information for the campus community. So 2 years ago, we got the Alumni Foundation grant. Gave us approximately $5,000. We were able to build the digital newsroom in our Mule Skinner newsroom. We got some equipment, camera, lights, microphones, and so now we're able to produce content out of the newsroom, both video components, and we have the ability to take our equipment out and do man-on-the-street interviews. We can cover events as they happen out on campus. One of the challenges inherent to student publication, or really any student organization, is turnover. Students are here, they're pursuing a degree, and then they graduate, and then the idea is that they get out of here and they use that degree We ran into a point at the end of last semester where I believe it's 10 out of 11 of our staff members graduated. Currently, we are working on building a plan to flesh out the staff again. We lost a lot of people all at once, so that takes some time. But again, we're just trying to strategically implement just kind of a vision and a direction for the Mule Skinner moving forward. Part of that is building out a staff and kind of identifying what we need, what we want to do, and then finding people that can do that for us.
So my name is Brock Knoll. I'm a graduate student. I got my undergrad here in 2018 from marketing. So here at the Mule Skinner, I'm the business manager. I call businesses, local businesses, it could be national businesses, so you get them interested in hopefully advertising for our newspaper. So if they advertise more, it'll give our students an opportunity to write more, and we can produce more newspapers.
This is a student publication. If you are a student at UCM, I would be more than happy to accept information, content, tips. If there's something that you want to try, you don't have to be in our program. You don't specifically have to be tied to a program to reach out and try to contribute things. If there's something that's important to you, that means it's probably important to at least a couple other people. And so I would encourage people to try to figure out what it is they want to see, and then be part of creating that. The more voices we can get, last I checked, the enrollment is roughly 11,000 people. I can't reasonably be expected to speak to all 11,000 people. And so it's beneficial for any student across campus to be able to identify what they want and then be able to contribute. And one of the things that a lot of people think about newspapers or journalism in general is it's all about writing. And that is a huge component of it, but it's not the only thing that you can contribute. Videographers, photographers, we have a social media coordinator, but she is more than happy to work with people that are able to do things on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything that you see out on a regular basis, we can do and we would love to do. And so it's not limited to writers and reporters. If you have an idea, man, come pitch it to us, work with us, and we'll get it developed. We're doing a lot. We are working with some photographers and with some social media people. We would like to expand that, obviously. And then as people, again, graduate and move out, we're going to need more. Again, we're playing with the model a little bit. We've got content coming out of classes, and so that takes a certain amount of time. And we don't have a fully committed staff right now. So our goal is to increase our presence. We're working to that end. We are also going to work out a plan to get regular printed hard copies of the Mule Skinner back around campus. Again, that's something that we're still trying to flesh out that plan, but it's in the works. We're making some headway there, and so it should be here in the coming months as we get this plan developed and fully fleshed out. Should have a very vibrant online presence in addition to a physical Mule Skinner that people can pick up, hand out, and send back home.
So this specific event is Oktoberfest, so it is to celebrate German culture. So we have, we've just been eating like brats and hot dogs and having root beer floats. And we have learned just some common phrases in German. And we're gonna play some board games, and we're gonna play Secret Hitler, which is a really popular board game that we play in America that's kind of like a tribute to Germany. This is the Modern Language Club, and basically what we do is we pick a different culture or language every month, and we have a meeting or a celebration about it, and we eat the food, we learn about the language, that kind of stuff, to just celebrate and be knowledgeable about other cultures.
I believe I joined the club, I believe I decided to join the club when I was in my sophomore year here at UCM. I switched over my major to Spanish, and then later specified that I wanted to be a Spanish education major. And so when I did that, I was like, oh heck, I need to get involved in things on campus related to my major because that'll look good on a resume and stuff. And so that's initially why I got involved with the Modern Languages Club, and I went to like a few of the meetings and stuff my sophomore year. And then Dr. Merrill, she actually asked me at the end of my sophomore year if I wanted to be the vice president for my junior year, because the club needed a vice president. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I mean, why not? So I did that. And then I just decided to run for the vice president position again, and so here I am.
Major is Spanish, and I really wanted to be able to meet more people in my major, because the Spanish, like a lot of the classes, since a lot of people have to take it for credit, there's not as many people who are in the major that you meet in your classes, so I wanted to have more community with those people.
Yeah, so our next event is really our biggest event of the semester, and that is Dia de los Muertos. And it's going to be really, really great. It's going to be on November 5th in the Wood Building. We're not quite sure what room yet, so emails to come, and there'll be signs out by the union. And basically what we do is we have tamales and conchas and horchata and all kinds of different foods that are, to Mexico, and we celebrate the culture and heritage, and we build an ofrenda and all kinds of things like that.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have tonight, but don't fear. The show in its entirety and individual segments can be found on our KMOS TV YouTube page. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Stephen Holstein. Good night.